This video is about how to get book reviews. And this is a huge challenge for indie authors or traditionally published authors because once you've finished producing your book and designing your book and putting it up for sale, you really need reviews to sell the book to new readers because they're not going to trust the sales description. They want to see not only if the reviews are good, but how many people are reading the book. So it's actually better to have like 1,000 reviews and probably a 3 or 4 star average than it is to have 10 reviews that are all 5-star, because people don't really believe the 5-star reviews anyway. You want to have them there, but a really solid 3 or 4 star review that's critical might help sell the book better than the 5-star rave reviews. But you still need to get them, and getting them is kind of difficult. Authors hate to reach out to strangers and ask people to review the book. It sucks to kind of ask people for that kind of favor. You need to find ways to get reviews without being it a burden for other people or approaching strangers. So part of that is building relationships. Part of that is networking with other authors in your genre. Something to consider: Amazon has become very strict recently on reviews, and they're deleting a lot of reviews. If they think you have any relationship or connection to the person who's reviewing your book, they might delete the review because they feel like it's tainted or it's unbelievable. What Amazon wants is real reviews from complete strangers who you have no contact with, because they think those are more trustworthy or believable, which is probably true. But traditionally published authors, like when Stephen King publishes a book, he'll get thousands of reviews from people who know who he is and they like him, they're fans. So those are going to be just as questionable, but Amazon doesn't delete them. So it's not exactly fair, but you need to be careful about or aware of the fact that Amazon might be deleting reviews if they can kind of find a source of connection between you and the reviewer. And as a response to that, a lot of authors are just sticking their heads in the sand and not focusing on getting reviews because they don't want to get into dangerous territory with Amazon. But if you're publishing a book, you need to put some reviews on your Amazon page to give your book the chance of getting read by readers. That's your responsibility. Nobody else is going to do that for you. There's a couple ways to do that. Basically, every time you sell a book, you might get 5% of the people who read the book to review your book. So if you sell 100 books, you might get 5 reviews. But if you're selling your book at $2.99 and $3.99, you might only sell 10 books a month. So it would take you a year to get 5 reviews, and that's unacceptable because you want to be selling more books. I strongly recommend starting with a free campaign so that at least you can give your book out to a few thousand people, and you'll probably get 10 or 20 reviews right away. It doesn't cost you anything, and you need those reviews to sell the book later. If you don't want to do that, there are other ways to get more reviews, but basically, if you're not giving your book away for free, you're working harder to pay for marketing or advertising to sell each copy of the book. It's going to take you longer to build the reviews that are going to help you sell the book. So it's just an easy way to start if you give it away for free. Also, like even if you build up a big list of readers, they may not necessarily want to buy the book. So for me, like I have a really large email list, but I'll email my list when the book is for free and ask them to download the book for free and review the book. Those are kind of basic things. Here's the other steps I'm taking. I'm launching my first fiction soon, and I'm doing a lot of things to market it. Firstly, I have a list of beta readers, so I emailed them first, send them a copy of the book, and asked them to post a review on the 26th, which is launch day. I also emailed a big list of young adult authors that I have and offered to swap reviews, where they download my book, I download their book, we review each other's books. Technically, that's against Amazon's review policy, but the thing is, Amazon is against, like, you can't write fake reviews. You can't write flattering 5-star bullshit reviews that mislead readers. That's bad. That's going to hurt your book sales long term. But it's fine to trade an honest review. So when someone reviews my book, I don't expect it's going to be positive. I expect it to be honest, and I tell them that. And the same thing when I review their book. I don't promise them that it's going to be positive. If their book is really terrible, I don't want to lie to people and tell them it's a good book. I'll usually to get around that, because I don't want to hurt the author's feelings either. So I'll usually I'll usually like set it at 4 stars, but I'll leave my critical, honest review. So it's not as hurtful because it's still 4 stars, but my description is honest. I'll tell them what I liked and what I didn't like about the book. So just be careful when you're swapping reviews. Keep them honest. Don't mislead readers. You want readers to read your review and agree with your review when they read the book. But it's smart to trade reviews with other authors in your genre. That's good for both of you. If you don't want to post them as a normal Amazon book review, you can also post them as an editorial review, which means when you publish your book on Amazon, you can't do it on KDP, on Kindle, but you can claim your book on the Amazon Author Central, and then you'll have a section that's editorial reviews. And that's where you can add in reviews from other authors. So we could swap blurbs or editorial reviews, and I can put those up on my sales page, and you want to have those. And it's nice to have those from other authors in your genre, and it shouldn't be hard to get those because that's free marketing and free publicity for them. So like I will blurb any book. If you have a young adult fantasy whatever book, I can blurb it. Blurb just means like a short review. Basically you write a review and they take a short few, like a couple words, like riveting and exciting. I'll do that for just about anybody because it puts me and my name and my book on their sales page. You don't want to do that for like really terrible books. However, if the book is not doing very well anyway, it's invisible, nobody's going to see it, but you've still done a favor for that author and they're going to leave a review back for you. But for most books, like a decent, mediocre book, indie authors are all working hard to market their book. And if you have your blurb on their like on your book page, and you do that for 100 authors, that's a ton of free marketing and promotion for you. So you want to be giving blurbs to other authors as well. And you can start out that way. If you're developing a relationship, just say, I really liked your book. I'd love to review it. Here's a review you can use. By the way, mine is for sale next week or whatever. You don't necessarily want to say, I'll review your book if you review my book, because that's a little sketchy. But you should be reviewing books in your genre and also posting those on your website, because that's good content that's going to attract the right kind of readers. And if you're reviewing, like every time you review a book, if you review some huge famous like Hunger Games, nobody's going to link back to you. But if you review a smaller self-publishing author who has a decent book, who's trying to get more visibility, if you review their book and post a review on your website, they're going to share it with their audience and link back to you. And their audience is your audience if they're in your genre. So if you do that for 50 authors and they send their readers back to your website to read the review of their book, you're building the right kind of links and the right kind of traffic back to your website that's going to be good for you and your book sales. So that's kind of one step, which is networking with other indie authors. Then I built up a really big list with book giveaways, but they're not people who signed up to hear about my fiction. So it's a little weird. I can't just say, here's my book, will you review it? Instead, I'm doing giveaways. So my first book is like a mermaid romance. So I'm doing a book giveaway for people who like mermaids and who like young adult novels. And I'm giving away a bunch of cool mermaid stuff. And that's basically it. So in my giveaway, one of the options is if you download the book for free, or if you buy the book for 99 cents, and if you review the book, then you get extra entries. So you get more chances to win the cool mermaid stuff that I have. So that's kind of a cool thing to do. Again, technically, it's illegal because you're not allowed to offer bribes for the reviews or incentives or anything. And I understand why Amazon has that policy, and I understand they want to safeguard their platform with only honest reviews. But again, I'm not asking for dishonest, fake reviews. I'm incentivizing, I'm rewarding my readers. If they like the book and they leave a review, I want to thank them. I want to send them something to thank them for taking the time to leave a review. And I want to make that offer to them and let them know about it. So you may feel like that's morally dubious. I disagree. And I think it's my responsibility as an author to get as many reviews as I can so that my book can have the chance to reach more readers. If my book isn't good and I can't get people to leave good reviews, then obviously I should fail and I don't deserve success with my book. If you're giving out gifts or prizes for reviews and you're getting like fake negative review or fake positive reviews on your book, when you start getting real readers who are misled by those fake reviews, they'll start posting negative reviews, and lots of them, much more. And so it'll hurt your book long term, which is why I don't do it and why I don't recommend it. But I do think you should incentivize your readers or reward your readers for giving reviews, and think of ways to make that fun and engaging and exciting so that you're not just asking for the favor of a book review, you're giving something back to your platform, your followers. So besides all that, I will also go into Amazon and look at 10 or 20 best-selling books in my genre, and I'll look at who reviewed those books. I'll look at who put their blurbs under the editorial reviews, and I'll also look at who left them reviews on the natural review page. And I'll go through, and usually for like half of those, you can find a website, because a lot of them are book reviewers and they have a website. So I can find a website, I can look them up, and I can email them and say, hey, I saw that you reviewed this other book in my genre. My book is coming out. I would love it if you review it. That's not a very good offer because they get a lot of those already. Instead, I will actually email them and tell them about the mermaid contest I'm running or the other campaign I'm running, which is to raise money for oceanic conservation. I'm basically giving away all my book sales, the revenue from my book sales, and also matching it with $1 for every book sold, so that I'm raising money to preserve ocean wildlife. And I'm doing that because it's a lot more interesting than just publishing a book and saying, hey, review my book. So because I'm doing those two things, and I can email bloggers and say, I'm doing these two cool things. If you're interested, please share them with your audience. And by the way, if you want a copy of the review book, I'll send you one. That's a lot stronger of an offer, especially when you're making it to a total stranger, than just, hey, would you review my book? So you want to think of ways that you can improve your offer and make what you're doing more interesting than just asking for a review. But I'll do that, and I'll make a list of probably 200 or 300 book bloggers that I can email about that news. You have to work for your reviews. I mean, if you get to the point where you're emailing people or you're trying to trade reviews with authors, but nobody's getting back to you, or people kind of disappear, or they stop answering their emails, or it gets weird, probably they don't feel comfortable reviewing your book because it's not very good. And nobody's comfortable telling you that it's not very good. So that's going to be a problem. It's an irresolvable problem. If you have a book that's not very good, it's going to be difficult to get reviews. But you still have to try, and you still have to keep trying until you get enough reviews to know for sure. If you put it out for free or you put it out for 99 cents, it's the other thing I should mention with book reviews. Your reviews differ depending on the reader expectation. So if you have a $9.99 book, people's reader expectation is much higher. They're more likely to leave negative reviews if they're unhappy with the book. Whereas if you have a free or 99-cent book, their expectations are much lower, and the reviews will be more positive because they weren't expecting very much anyway. So you want to be, that's why like when I launch a book, I will always launch it free or 99 cents because I want reader expectation to be low so that they can be blown away by the quality of my book, and the reviews will be much higher, and they'll be more like rave reviews because they're better than they were expecting. Later, when I have lots of reviews, I can raise the price and put a higher price and make more money. But you can't make money with your book until you have social proof, until you have reviews. And that's the mistake I see most authors doing, is they still sell the book at $3.99, but it's invisible. It's in the millions level. Nobody sees the book anyway. They're getting like 1 or 2 sales a month. And they don't, like, the easiest thing to do is to drop the price to free or 99 cents to get more sales and downloads, which will result in more book reviews. most authors aren't doing that. They try other ways to market their books, which are kind of a waste of time. You want to make sure you're focusing on getting the reviews. You want to get reviews before you market the book. Like, you don't want to do a free campaign. A lot of people will do, like, they'll start off with a free or 99-cent campaign, and they'll do a lot of promotion and marketing, but they have less than 10 reviews. And nothing you do to promote the book will be successful unless you already have some reviews. So you need to work on building those up first before you do a big promotion or a launch. Even if the book is free, it'll be more successful if you have at least 10 reviews. So it's tricky and it takes work, and you need to actively go out and email people and contact people and try to get book reviews. It takes work. And there's no kind of easy way, but the easiest way is to give your book away to lots of people and try to get them to... Oh, I was also going to say, in your book, you should have your offer. So in the beginning of your book, you should ask for a review. At the back of your book, you should ask for a review. Make a genuine, heartfelt plea for book reviews, saying how much it's important to you as the author. You really value the reviews. Even if it's negative, I just want critical feedback. Please leave a review. And also, if you have an incentive, like if it's part of a series, you can say, sign up to my email list, leave a review, and I'll send you something for free, or I'll send you a thank you card or a poster of the book cover art or something. But you want to have some offer. You want to try to encourage reviews as much as you can, because reviews are really important. I'm shooting for 100 reviews on launch. So within the first couple weeks of publishing, I want 100 reviews. And that's going to take a lot of work. And I'm going to need to spend a lot of time and effort trying to get those reviews. And yes, it's also helpful that I've been building big email lists, but a month ago, I had no email list. I had a zero platform for fiction authors, for my fiction books. But I've been doing the stuff that I recommend to other authors that most authors just aren't doing. I've been doing that stuff for my own books because it works really well. It's kind of frustrating when authors ask me questions about these things, but they won't take the advice, even though it works. So something to consider. There's a lot of contradictory opinions about book reviews. It is a very sensitive topic, and I know that my views on book reviews are unpopular. So you may have strong feelings about book reviews, and you may feel like it's wrong to incentivize or to get your followers to post book reviews. But I disagree. If you've got people who like your writing, you should ask them for a review. You should try to encourage them and convince them to leave a review. And that's your job as an author and your responsibility as an author to make sure you get more book reviews. You can't just keep marketing a book that has less than 10 reviews and hope you get more reviews. But definitely, if nothing else, if you don't have 10 reviews yet and you've had the book up for months and you're not selling and nothing's working, definitely do a free campaign and give your book away for free. It can't hurt. It can only help. And it's the easiest kind of no-brainer way to get your book out to more readers.